Whoa! Man, oh man, holy crap! Return to Silent Hill is getting absolutely dog-walked by reviewers in theaters. This movie is some of the worst reviews I've ever seen for a video game adaptation, and that's saying something, at least since the Borderlands movie. Holy crap. Holy crap. Currently, I know it's a little early, but currently sitting at a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 30 on Metacritic. This is nuclear level disasters for the Silent Hill series. And we're going to go over these reviews now. This movie comes out in a couple days, so keep your head on a swivel and really consider if you're going to go see this movie or not after you listen to these reviews. So, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I'm RJ, Game News USA. Let's jump right into it. So, we're going to kick it off with the Rotten Tomatoes side of things, where it got a 10% overall. Oh, man. Ashley Barden with a 1.5 out of 5 says, and it's a Rotten score, a confusing plot, mediocre visual effects, and over-the-top acting might make director Christoph Jean newest Silent Hill adaptation just as diverse as his final attempt 20 years ago. Just as divisive as his final attempt 20 years ago. Now, we do have one fresh tomato here. 1 out of the 10 reviews is a fresh tomato. And that's still only a 2 out of 4, which is weird that that's not even a Rotten score. If that had been graded as a Rotten, then that indeed would have given it a 0%. But the one positive from Dominic Baez says it shouldn't work, and it doesn't a lot of the time. But there's something compelling in how it all wraps up. How decisions that floundered in the moment feel a little more justified once the credits roll, which are awesomely stylish for some reason. That is the only positive you're going to see on the entire Rotten Tomatoes site as of the time of this recording. Because we have a Rotten Tomato 5 out of 10, which again, I don't understand how is a fresh tomato a 2 out of 4, but a 5 out of 10 is a rotten. That's still 50%. But a Rotten Tomato here, 5 out of 10 from Jesse Sheeden, says it's ultimately an adaptation that fails to improve upon the source material or do anything particularly new or interesting. Those craving a truly great psychological horror experience are better off booting up a version of Silent Hill 2. We have Trace Savaner with a C-, but it's rated as a Rotten Tomato, says Return to Silent Hill never captures the smothering, oppressive dread of the game, mainly because it's a property with a premise built on immersion. And we have a 1 out of 5 Rotten Tomato here from Karina Agelgard, who says fans of the video game will probably enjoy being able to sit back and watch this familiar world play out. However, I have to review Return to Silent Hill in terms of how good a movie it is, and it is not a good movie. It's a movie. That's it. Oh, so bad. Joshua Ryan with a 5 out of 10 Rotten Tomato says the successful recreation of a nightmare is impressive, but the hurdle is turning that nightmare into something that captivates the audience. When discussing a dream, it's often the storyteller who's enjoying themselves more than the listener. And this is a real bad score here from Brian Egert, who's one of the most famous in the business, giving it a 0.5 out of 4 Rotten Tomato, saying, I found the experience difficult to sit through and nonsensical from moment to moment with its confounding story and shoddy CGI matched only by its lack of entertainment value. Oh my God, that's a Feltning right there. That is scorched earth on Silent Hill, Return to Silent Hill. My God, that's a burial. Kyle Logan with a Rotten Tomato.
Okay, honey.
Hold up. Says, and sorry about that. Kyle Logan with a Rotten Tomato says, has an adaptation of one of the best video games ever made from a filmmaker that successfully translated the game's world to film before. It's a major disappointment. Has a movie. It's just bad. And then we have Ross Bonamine with a 3 out of 10 Rotten Tomato, saying this powerful survival horror story has been turned into an ugly, laughable adaptation that proves that maybe we should have never gone back to Silent Hill. Damn! This franchise might be dead in the movies. Maybe not in the games, but it's dead in the movies. Dead man walking. And finally, from Rotten Tomatoes, Justin Clark giving it a Rotten Tomato with a 0.5 out of 4, saying Christoph Gans's film does away with all the psychosexual nuance of Silent Hill 2. Huh. Well, it gets even worse when you consider the Metacritic a 30. That's extremely awful for a Metacritic movie. We have 3 mixed and 3 negative reviews. I know it's early, but I don't think it's going to shoot up or down too much one way or another. IGN with a 50, saying Return to Silent Hill isn't the worst entry in the video game movie series, but it fails to accomplish anything that the source material doesn't do better. The Seattle Times with a 50. It doesn't hold a candle to the game, but there's enough here to warrant another visit to this tragic little town. Those 2 reviews are the most positive I've heard mostly. And that's still very barely positive at all. The Guardian with a 40 says 20 years later, Gans still can't figure out how to escape the open-ended confinement of gameplay or even give it the forward momentum of a game within a mission. Colander with a 30, a negative review, saying with bad direction, terrible acting, and a world that has no weight behind it, this isn't the way to bring Silent Hill 2 to the big screen. This powerful survival horror story has been turned into an ugly, laughable adaptation. That is harsh. Total Film with a 30 says loosely based on the 2001 game Silent Hill 2, Return to Silent Hill can be atmospheric, a horror film with original creature designs worthy of Konami's legendary franchise, but a confusing plot, mediocre visual effect, and over-the-top acting make it unwatchable. And finally, Slant Magazine with a 12 says Christoph Gans's film does away with all the psychosexual nuance of Silent Hill 2. And we did hear that in the Rotten Tomatoes score too. Holy crap, guys. I don't know if you planned on seeing this film or not, but I would definitely reconsider it. I know reviews aren't everything, and who knows, maybe this is one of these movies that get awful reviews from the critics, and then fans love it. But we'll see. Anyway, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Like this video and share it out there. This is RJ signing out. Have a good one.